All right, everybody. Welcome to the webinar today, Marketing Automation Introduction, presented by the esteemed Kenny Harper, owner of Rock My Image, who you are all seeing. I am the disembodied voice in the background, Allie Stevens with the Florida SBDC at UNF. In case any of you are unfamiliar with the SBDC, we are part of the statewide network, and our mission is to help your small businesses grow and succeed. Start, grow, and succeed, we'll say. We do this by offering training and webinars like this one today, and also by providing no-cost confidential consulting in all aspects of business management. Our information will be added to the chat box so you can follow up with us for an appointment or just to learn more about other services that we offer. And it will also be in an email sent after the session today. So if you're interested in following up with us at the SBDC, you will be able to do so. Kenny will go over his contact information throughout the presentation, and there'll be different options for that. Quick housekeeping, ask your questions in the question section of your control panel, and we will address them at the end. Now that's part of my normal spiel, but I think Kenny might get a little interactive today. So if there is any questions or comments or anything like that throughout the presentation, please just type them into the question section and we will address them as necessary. So this session is being recorded, and the link will be sent out to everyone this afternoon along with a survey for you to let us know how you thought it went. And Kenny, as I mentioned, will be going over some different options for follow-up and how to receive different handouts from him. So again, focus all that to your question section of your control panel. And I think that's all my housekeeping. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Kenny Harper. Take it away.
All right. Thank you very much, Allie. And it's a pleasure to be here today. And if you're tuning in now, get ready to rock, because we're going to take your business to the next level with an amplified engine. Now, this presentation is an introduction to automated marketing automation. So we're going to cover some key concepts, maybe give you some ideas that you could begin to start putting into your business and achieve better results. And we have a follow-up session to this, which is really the nuts and bolts of going down and getting things into action. So make sure that you sign up for the follow-up part 2 of this. So if you're brand new to automation, this is going to be helpful. You'll definitely gain some insights. And if you're experienced, you'll probably gain some things as well that maybe you haven't thought of before or that you could use to improve. Now, what I'm going to be doing is going over this wonderful agenda here. Number one, what is marketing automation and how can I use it in my business? Number 2, types of different marketing automation and some software. Number 3, what to do before implementing marketing automation. So something you want to take into consideration, and then some first steps. So again, this is kind of the starting part 1 introduction. You will gain some information here, but we're going to be doing the hands-on, getting down and dirty in the next presentation. So here's what I suggest doing. Number 1, take notes. And it's on the screen as chat, but this is actually going to be the questions panel. And I'm going to be asking you to interact throughout the presentation and actually chat in the questions panel some comments so we can have a dialogue. And this will help make the presentation more interactive, and this will also help me customize it to the people who are attending. And then last but not least, take action. You know, it's not what you know, it's what you do. So you may gain some ideas today, but if you don't put them into action, they won't serve you. So we want to make sure that you're taking something from today and commit to yourself, to your business, and to your success, that you will take something and put it into action today, because that's the only way we're going to benefit from that. Now, as mentioned, Ali was sharing that I am going to be sharing my contact information. I'm going to be putting this at the very end as well. But if you want to have the resources from this presentation, if you chat in your email address, or you can go to rockwithkenny.com and schedule a time to receive those things. I'll be sure to send those resources to you. There's the guide that you'll see we'll be walking over today. And if anyone's interested in a free trial of ActiveCampaign, I'd be glad to give them as well. So this is just some free resources that you can have just for checking out and connecting. And ultimately, I'd love to make sure that you're getting the things that are helpful for you. So I'd like to start by testing out this question feature and ask this question. What do you seek to gain from today? So what do you seek to gain from today? If there's something specific that you're looking to get out from this presentation, I'd love to hear what that is. Because as a certified digital marketer trainer, I've got a lot of resources and information. And if there's something specific that you're looking to get, I can speak directly to that. So you can put that in the question feature, and I see tips to automate marketing, and that's pretty cool because we'll definitely be going over those. And the other question I'm asking as well is, what industry are you in? So this could be helpful. So I might be able to get a sense of who's in the room and customize some of the information to the people who are attending. If you just kind of want to share which industry you're in, you're representing, so you can get a sense of what that is, that would be helpful as well. All right, so this should be to no surprise to anyone here. Marketing automation, what is it? Well, marketing automation refers to software platforms and technologies designed for marketing departments and organizations to move to more effectively market on multiple channels online and automate repetitive tasks. That's the definition, right? So people are looking to get an idea of how they can use this to, I see a nonprofit, right? I see health and cooking, manufacturing, landscaping, web design. So we've got an array of different backgrounds here, and this is why this is helpful to ask. And the things that we're going over is really going to be looking to help everyone in their background. Now, there are a plethora of different marketing automation companies out there, different software. You may have heard of HubSpot. I use ActiveCampaign and SharpSpring. Infusionsoft is popular. Marketo. There's a lot of different ones out there. And some people try to say, well, what should I use? Which one's the best? And a lot of that's going to be determining on, where you're at with your business and what capabilities you need. But more often than not, it's not the software. It's not the software that's going to define success or not. It's really the strategy behind the software, how it's being leveraged. Okay, so that's an important thing to know, because I get this question asked a lot. Which software should I use? Should I use Infusionsoft? Should I use ClickFunnels? What should I use? Leadpages? And again, it goes back to the strategy behind the software. The software is just going to have certain functionality, but if your strategy isn't defined, if you don't have the right marketing message, if you're not using the right follow-up points to progress the sales presentation forward, or if you're not utilizing the software, then it's not going to serve you. I've got people who've spent hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands of dollars in a year, and they're not really using the software. So think for yourself, is this you? Is this you? Are you one of those people that have the software but aren't using it? All right, so just no need to answer there, but I just want you to think about that for a moment. Do you have software? Are you fully leveraging it? And we're going to go over just how much money it could be costing you and how much time it could be costing you as well by not fully leveraging it. Growth Amplifiers is also a podcast, and earlier today I was talking with a business advisor from out in Oregon, and one of the tips that she shared on the podcast, she was sharing, sometimes we need to not just put out the fires in our business. We need to be thinking ahead of that fire, right? So if you have, a lot of times people are so busy, they're just doing things because it's quicker to get it done right then and there than to try to work through setting up the automation and setting up the strategy and getting it in place to help them down the line. So I'm just bringing that out because that's very common. So if this is you, you're in good company. There's a lot of people that are in that boat where they kind of know they should be taking more action and should be leveraging the software more, but they're not quite doing it yet. So the thing I'll ask you to do is commit to yourself today that you're going to take a step and move something forward. Okay, move something forward. How do you eat an elephant? Right, one bite at a time. So we talked about what is marketing automation. Let's talk about how you can use it in your business. And this is pretty straightforward sort of stuff. Number one, increase engagement with behavioral marketing. So behavioral marketing is basically the type of marketing that reacts to what actions that you've taken. And some automation marketing companies have this available in their software, others don't. So what's a good example of this? How many Amazon shoppers do I have out there? Amazon shoppers, right? So when you buy something in Amazon, what do? They typically will say, well, since you like this, you may also like that. That's behavioral marketing. And you can create behavioral marketing, very sophisticated stuff. You can say if people liked a certain video, or they visited a certain page, or they watched a certain amount of a video, that you're going to now change the experience they have based on the actions that they've taken. You can create different messaging or a different experience if they haven't visited the website in a certain amount of time, or if they clicked a certain link, or if they didn't open an email. The possibilities are huge. And so when you are thinking about the behaviors that people are taking and then responding accordingly, that's kind of like the secret sauce about automation. It's not so much you want to just automate everything to be like a robot, because that typically will push people away. People can get a sense of that, but you want to be thinking about how can you customize that experience to make it more interesting. Okay. Another thing is it can help generate leads. I'm not sure if you've been on social media and seen the automated chat features or a website where a chat pops up. You can put some automation there where it can answer some frequently asked questions, guide people to the right resources, and get them to take the first step. And if you haven't used an automated chat yet, there are some free things that you can do that would help you at least take the first steps there. And with a lot of automation, typically they'll let you do some things for free, get a sample, and then of course they want you to pay if you're going to continue to get more value. Excuse me. Improve sales conversions. So when you get leads coming in, that's great. But if you don't nurture those leads, and build relationships, then you get a lot of leads that don't turn to actual customers. True story. I do marketing services for different companies. I had a roofing company several years back, and they were getting leads. We were helping them rank on search engines. We were getting ads done for them, and they were getting a bunch of leads. And they complained one time. They said, "You know what? We're just not getting business from this." I said, "Well, that's funny, because all these leads that are coming in are searching for your service, and that's what marketing is supposed to do." And when we looked to understand, it was they didn't have any follow-up process. They would maybe call them once, try to sell something, and then if they didn't get a sale, they'd be like, "Meh, it didn't work." So leveraging technology, you can automate the lead nurturing to share what your company's about, what makes it unique. You could share social proof and basically guide people seamlessly and subtly through the different stages of the relationship. Increase transactions, right? So if you already have customers, you want them to do more business with you. increasing the lifetime value of the customer also increases the revenue and the bottom line. So when you're understanding what your customers want and what they're looking for, you can create behavioral marketing sequences and market to them more effectively. And then last but not least, when you're being more systematic, doing things more consistent, being more efficient and effective, then you can increase your profits. So if you've seen some of my presentations, you may have seen this slide before. This is the profit growth formula, looking at the 5 drivers of profitability in a business. And if you're getting a certain amount of leads coming in your business and they're converting into customers, and then they have a certain number of transactions, and the average price per transaction is a certain amount, that's going to generate a certain amount of revenue. And depending on what your profit margin is, that's going to generate a certain amount of profits. Well, the key thing here to understand is when you can look to improve each of these by a small percentage, it can really make a big impact in the bottom line. And by utilizing automation, this can really make a huge impact for your business and its bottom line. So we talked a little bit about what it is, how you could use it, and this is kind of like the impact that it could have, right? When you're saying, how can I make sure things are being done consistently? How can I make sure things are being done more effectively? And then how can I save time at the same time doing this? Because time is money, right? And that's an important thing to realize, because there is a cost of having no automation. So there's a lot on this slide, so let me just walk through it. If you know how much your time is worth, you can calculate the cost it is by not having automation. And for this example, I chose an hourly rate of $25 an hour. Your hourly rate may be more, maybe less. We're not here to judge, okay? But if you think about your hourly rate and then think, what if you had used automation for one simple task? Now, you may think that task only takes a minute, but does anything ever really only take a minute? Typically not. It typically takes us a lot longer to actually do something, because we've got to get to something, we've got to get set up, we've got to follow through, and it may take even more than 5 minutes when it's all said and done just to send that one reminder email. So if you were just saving yourself from one task a day, that would be 1,825 minutes in a year. Now, let's just say it's an important task and it might get done 5 times in a day, right? And what if you had 5 different tasks that we're using? This all adds up. You can calculate the hours in a year that you may save, and then times it by your hourly rate to see how much money it could be costing you by not fully leveraging automation. So if you see the impact, right, of the financial gains you can get from benefiting in it, or the cost of not using it, my whole goal here to share these 2 slides with you is to really let you see how important it is to be putting these ideas into action, right? It's really to be more effective and more efficient. And so what I'd like to do now is just take a quick poll of the room to get a better understanding of where people are at right now in the spectrum of leveraging automation. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your current use of automation? 1 being, I don't use automation. That's not something I'm currently doing, but I know I need to. That's why I'm here. And 10 being, I'm dialed in and I'm fully leveraging it. I'm just crushing it. I'd be surprised if people put 10 on this in there on this webinar, but you never know. I typically never give myself a 10 because I believe there's always an opportunity for improvement. So I'm seeing some numbers coming in, all right, and I'm seeing a lot of people are not leveraging it currently. Slide is not showing again. I'm getting that message. And I will say that I am pulling down the slide occasionally to go to the camera. So if it's disappearing occasionally, that may be because I'm temporarily hiding it. But if there's an issue, please let me know. So thanks for sharing in where you're at with your automation. And if you haven't put that in the questions yet, please do. Scale of 1 to 10, where are you right now when it comes to automation? As I'm doing the follow-up session for part 2 of this and getting things into action, getting the insights from this could really help me prepare the next episode. All right, so I'm going to now transition into types of marketing automation. And I'm just going to begin the conversation of what are some different types of marketing automation and give some examples. But then I'm going to really hone in on one that I think would be most universal and most beneficial. So this is identity email mail validation. So apparently people can call my phone. If you get email lists, or if you get people's mailing information, there's software that can automate the process of checking the email validity or the mail validity to make sure it's accurate. So if someone gives you their contact information and maybe it's a little off, there's some software that can help make sure that they scour the internet to make sure that what they've given to you is the most accurate and best contact information for them. So that's pretty powerful. And there's some example: Tower Data, OpenPrize, Makudu, Bouncer. That's just a type of marketing automation. Now we're going to go into analytics and segmentation. So we've got Kissmetrics, Google Analytics, Blueshift, and Chartbeat. So if you have a wide audience like I do right here, and you kind of don't know who you're speaking to, it's going to be hard to really speak to someone's exact challenge. Some people may be somewhat experienced, some people may have no experience. You have different industries. It's the same for you in your marketing automation. You may serve businesses, but you also may serve consumers, everyday people. And the marketing message that you give to the different people should be different based on who you're speaking to. So that's where understanding who you're interacting with and segmenting your audience is really helpful, so you can get the right message to the right market. Lead generation, right? So Freshsales, Salesforce, Prospecto, MailChimp, ClickFunnels. And those are some marketing automation tools that can be used for lead generation, just the purpose of getting people to raise their hand and following up and actually becoming leads. Okay. Now, we're still going into the conversation of types. Again, I'm going high level, and then we're going to deep dive in a moment and go into some more practical details. Social media. You can automate social media with tools like Buffer or Sprout Social, Crowdfire, MeetEdgar, ManyChat. Whether you're looking to post your social media to certain channels at certain times, or you're looking to automate your chat with ManyChat, you can make social media be more consistent, be more effective. The tool MeetEdgar, I like that tool. You can build like a whole library of posts. They'll give you which post got the most interaction, and then you can even schedule those posts to kind of go on a cycle. Now, you wouldn't want all your posts to be automated. It's helpful to have real organic content, right? You may have heard that before, but it can be helpful to have some content that does continually repeat, so that you have a consistency and that you're sharing some things that are really important more than once. Because unless you're paying for ads in today's time, most people probably won't see most of your posts. It's just very congested. Okay, so we have marketing automation for customer communication, Intercom, Zendesk, Customer. So if people are looking to interact with your business and they're asking questions, and you need to kind of like make sure that you're keeping tabs of the questions people are asking. Those are great tools. And then customer retention. So maybe it's you're doing advertising, such as like display ads, and you want people to see your ads like with retargeting, to where maybe they clicked on a page on a website to view a new product or service you have, and then you want them to see your ad when they're visiting another website or interacting on social media. Okay, so those are some different types. But now, as discussed, we're going to dive in deeper to one of the most popular, and that's the CRM. And the CRM platforms can help with marketing automation, workflow, customer behavior tracking, sales automation, reports, and analytics. So web softwares like ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, Customer.io, Zoho, Salesforce, Klaviyo, Marketo, Drip, SharpSpring, those are all great examples. And my presentation is going to shift now a little bit as it goes into this more in depth. I thought that was a -1 someone put in their question, their chat. That was just one, no automation. So I'm sharing this. I'm taking a transition in the presentation now to really focus on marketing automation for sales. So capturing leads and then using it to seamlessly and subtly guide customers to become, our prospects to become customers that pay, stay, and refer. And we're doing this to save time. We're doing it to increase efficiency, to be more consistent, so that you can put your time on things that are more important to you. So we got to start off by identifying the core business goals. And as we saw with the profit growth formula, capture more leads and then convert more of those leads into sales. It's pretty straightforward. How many people in here, right, would want to have more clients in 2021 or more customers? Chances are, if you're here, that would be you. Now, if you're not leveraging a system, you're just trying to get people that maybe see your website, see a social media post, and buy your product or service, that's a huge jump. Out of 100 people, less than 1% of people are pretty much right now buyers. That means you're only capturing a small percentage of the web visitors. Leads are falling out of the funnel. Sales are not focused on your best leads. You're missing opportunities to upsell, cross-sell, which we'll explain in a little bit. There's fewer renewals or customer retention. And then if you're not looking at the analytics and the return on investment, whether that's for your advertising or from your networking or your time, right? Then you're flying blind, which is not a good strategy. So what we want to do is really understand your business, okay, and create a custom plan with strategies for every stage of the buyer's journey using marketing automation. So I think people need to be aware that you're there. Once you have their attention, you want to do something that's going to get them to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested. And then they're in consideration. Should they take the next step or not? Then that's the time when a different conversation needs to be had. It's less about getting them to raise their hand at this point. It's about getting them to take the next action, because they're going to need to make a decision. And then once they've done business with you, then it's really building the relationship so they could be an advocate or promoter for your brand. So write this down if you haven't already. Awareness, consideration, decision, and advocacy. So you want to be thinking along that line, because you want your automation process to be set up strategically to guide people from one stage to the next. Again, earlier when I was talking about which software should I use, less about the software, more about the strategy behind the software. So that's something I'll double down on in a little bit, but I just want to make sure that you're really thinking about that ahead of time. Jumping into just automating things without really thinking about the steps and the path you want people to take can just be automating chaos, which isn't helpful. So here's how this engine is going to work. We want to think about your lead attraction system. You want to be able to drive more leads, more than just more. That didn't make sense. Is it a typo? Drive relevant leads that convert. It's not a typo. I just lost my train of thought. So we want more than just more. We want relevant leads, right? So we want to think about what are we doing to get people to raise their hand. You may see people on websites where they offer a free video if they'll give you your contact information, or maybe they'll get a download or something. Getting people to raise their hand so you can get their contact information and get them into automation. The sales conversion system, okay? You've got the lead coming in, and now you want to think about how you're going to guide that lead and nurture that lead, give them some information. It builds rapport, shares social proof, so that those leads can get to know a bit more about your product or service and guide them to the next action of becoming a customer, right? And then your customer retention system. It's really thinking about the life cycle of your customers and if there's other opportunities that they could do business with you, whether you offer one service and they could benefit from another one of your services, but if you never market it or never ask or don't keep top of mind, you may lose the business completely. So it's thinking about like cross sells, which is like, would you like fries with that? Or upsells, would you like to supersize that? So here's the result that having these systems can produce. These are average results. 50% increase in sales ready leads. That's a pretty good increase. 60% higher lead to sale conversion. That's awesome. 34% higher sales revenues. So increasing leads, increasing actual sales and revenues as well. So let's talk about the lead attraction system. I just kind of gave you an example just a moment ago. And let me make sure my slides are up to date. Okay. So when people are looking for a product or service, whether they see an ad, they see about you on social media, they hear from you from a friend, they have an interest of your product or service for one reason or another. They either have a challenge that they're dealing with that they want to get rid of, or they have something that they desire, that they want. Okay, that's getting people, they have something they need a solution for, right? And your product or service gives them that solution. The challenge is people are searching all over the place. They may not be ready to take action to buy something right here, right now. So what we want to do is get them to raise their hand. And we can do that by creating a library of branded lead magnets that attracts customers. So this could be videos, it could be webinars, it could be white papers, it could be downloadable tools, it could be actually mailing them something, it could be podcasts, events, or public relations, right? So it's getting people to give their contact information, whether they're chatting it in and you get that they're chatting with you, they're providing their email address, or they're even texting you their phone number. You can give like a phone number that says text Rock to this particular number, and people will be opted into your texting program. Okay, so that's one thing that you want to start putting in your mind of lead attraction system. There's a lot of options, and it could be overwhelming at first, but the thought is to pick one. Pick one. Get started with one thing, because you can add on to it through time, but just pick one to say, I'm going to create something that's going to be of value to those I serve in exchange for their contact information. Okay. So when you're capturing more leads, marketing automation can help you with developing personas, the different personalities that you're dealing with, so that you may be able to change the conversations based on who you're dealing with. Scoring the leads so you know which actions people are taking, and they're more active the people are, the more likely they are to be ready to buy, and you can reach out to them or change the conversation. Segmenting the audience so that you're getting the right message to the right people. Some marketing automation tools offer shopping carts to get people to, if they want to buy right then and there, they don't have to call, they don't have to go somewhere else. Marketing blogs, so if you have content, being able to put out your content in more places so people can subscribe to it. And then paid search and social marketing, tying that all together. These are some top funnel tactics, and I know that's a lot, but just to give you an idea of what there is in these sections. Okay, so now we get leads, we want to think about the sales conversion. I know some professionals, some businesses, I'm not going to name any names, that have put a lot of time and energy marketing, and they're getting a lot of leads, but those leads are not going anywhere. And they almost seem like junk leads, but that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes it could be junk leads if your lead generation system is not set up to attract the right audience. But more times than not, you're getting good leads. It's just there's not a follow-up process to make sure that those leads are turning into customers. So we want to think about staying top of mind. One of the best names for software that I think is great is Constant Contact. It's a great name for a software that keeps you in constant contact with your customers, although it's not my favorite. I'll have to say that. It's not bad, so don't sue me. Increase efficiencies and implement consistently. So that's the cool part about when you get this set up, is once it's set up, it does things consistently. I want you to think for yourself, if you ever had the experience where you're, going the wrong way, where you're looking to follow up with someone, you say, I'm going to follow up with these leads after this webinar or after this event. And then the event happens, and then what happens? We get busy, right? That's why we want to automate these things. So someone may see an ad and they visit a landing page, and you get their contact information, so then they can receive a series of emails, or maybe a text, or maybe a physical mail, maybe a phone call, guiding them to become the customer. Once they're the customer, that's not when you close the relationship. That's really when it opens up, and it's the ability to continually get repeat business and ascend customers. So when we're looking at middle of the funnel tactics, again, we're looking at lead scoring. We want to know if people are taking certain actions. Maybe they're visiting certain pages, they're clicking on certain links. We can give them higher scores so we can prioritize the time that we put to follow up or to the conversation. You've got people that got 100 different leads you're working, for example, even 10 if you're a busy business, and one of them is really active. You want to put your time and attention to that one that's really busy and active. Again, the audience segmentation, low lead score nurture drips. So this is a series of emails that you could send to people that aren't taking certain actions. Hey, we sent you this email. You didn't click anything on it. You haven't visited our website in a few weeks. It looks like you're falling off. The message you would send to them would be different than someone who's showing like, yeah, I'm really ready to do something, right? You see how that would be more effective? Traditional outbound email marketing, sending your message, hey, we've got this new product. Hey, here's a great case study. Hey, here's a review from one of our top clients. Event marketing. This is really cool with Zoom. Recently we've had the opportunity of things opening up with Zoom. And one of the biggest lead generation things that I've been doing in my business is events, getting people to come to an event. Maybe it's a Zoom event. I do masterminds. I do strategic planning workshops. And it's an ability to get people to come together and get people to start a dialogue, networking, right? Get a whole process on how to do this with LinkedIn that's been really effective for me as a B2B business. Because if you set up your event on LinkedIn, you can invite people that you want to attend. If they attend, you get their registration information you can download and port over to your automation system. It's just a little tip. All right, so then we've got lead to sales, some bottom of the funnel. So these are people that they're really getting close to doing something. They're getting to that decision making. Again, we want to segment the audience because the conversations are going to be different. We maybe want to put out a special offer or a coupon that just has some scarcity to it to get somebody to take the first step and get into action. If you have an e-commerce store, the ability to follow up and say, hey, look, you abandoned your shopping cart. Amazon's really good at doing this. If you happen to put something in your shopping cart and then leave, they will not let you forget until you completely tell them, I do not want that anymore. I was on Amazon looking at a book and thinking, oh, I think I want to buy this book. I've heard about it, but I've never read it. Put it in my shopping cart, man. Before you know it, you forgot this. It was in your shopping cart. You want to get it? You want it? 3 or 4 emails. I had to go back and tell them I do not want it anymore. I got it on my phone with an app that I can listen to. So you can do this for your website. And then re-engagement campaigns for former customers. So you may have customers that have done business with you in the past, and you could send messages out to them. It's like, hey, we haven't done business with this person for a while. Maybe get them reinstated, re-engaged, or introduce them to a new product or service. Chances are that right there, if you've been in business for a while, you have a list of customers, past customers, you could implement something like that and see some immediate revenue, like immediate revenue. I've had a client I was working with who just wasn't marketing to their current customers, implemented a campaign and had one of the best months she's ever had. It wasn't even a complicated campaign. It's just, hey, I'm here, by the way, and I have these other things. Would you like that? Really powerful stuff. Very simple, but very effective. So that's one thing I want to caution you real quick on is some of the stuff that I'm sharing. Obviously, is pretty straightforward, but it's simple is better than complex. Don't go around looking for the silver bullet or something that's going to be like a magic thing that's just going to make everything happen. Look for the simple process that you can put in play. Take the little steps, because small hinges swing big doors. So sometimes it's the small little changes that you can make in your business that can have a huge impact on the results you're getting in the bottom line. So this is the customer retention system. Again, if you have customers already, you want to stay top of mind and increase their consistency. We're looking at customer satisfaction campaigns to make sure that you're delivering on what you say you're going to deliver. You want to make sure that you're getting that good feedback. You can have customer advocacy and referral campaigns to get people to say, hey, we appreciate your business. We're looking for other people like this. Who could you introduce us to? Renewal campaigns, cross-sell. Would you like fries with that? The fries complement the hamburger, which is the main offer. They go together. Would you like a milkshake with that? Would you like an apple pie with that? Or upsell, would you like to supersize it? So when you're looking at all these systems, it's really thinking about the strategy of how they all come together to capture more leads with a wider funnel, boost conversions at every stage, increase sales and revenue, see what's working and what's not working. And that's what automation can also help do with the analytics, is they could really help track what's working, what's not working, so you can really see the bottlenecks and the challenges along the way. So this is the process of really defining your strategy. Typically when we're engaging with clients, we're doing this in a discovery. We're banging out what are your needs, what are your challenges, and then helping to get things set up, implementation, and then at the end of the day, it's getting ideas into action, getting results, and testing and measuring. Right? So here's an important thing to note about marketing automation. Garbage in, garbage out. This is the thing you want to know before you implement any marketing automation. You may get this marketing automation software. You may be really tempted to start just automating things left and right. But poo in is just going to be to automated poo. It's not going to help anything. And that's when you're putting too much emphasis on the software itself, thinking, oh, if we just have this software, it's going to make everything great. It's the strategy behind the software and making sure that's really aligned with your business and your goals that really is going to be the difference breaker. The tools can be great, but just like any tool, you've got to use the tool correctly in order to get the result, which is why I'm all about systems. You may have some goals for what you're looking to achieve in this year. Goals are about the results you want to achieve. Systems are about the processes that lead to those results. So in other words, goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. This is a great book. It's by James Clear. It's about habits, and I really like it because, ultimately at the end of the day, our habits create our reality, whether we are not doing something consistently or whether we're doing something consistency. It's the actions that we regularly take that produce our results. So having awareness of how you can amplify your habits is really helpful. This is a quick overview of the automation blueprint. And for the sake of time, I'm going to go through this relatively quickly. We've got, maybe you're doing automation outbound social media posts and you're promoting your service and you're promoting some free offer. You get people to go to a landing page. You get them to download an offer. Great, they can continue the journey. If not, you can automate remarketing ads that follow them around and continually get them to come back to your offer. You get people to download your offer. Now you can use automation to give the download, to nurture those relationships, to guide them to take the next step. Maybe it's an assessment form. If they don't take action, you can continually nurture those contacts, or you can send them a different remarketing campaign. You guide people to the next step of earning their business by sharing the results you've had, continuing to share relevant case studies and social proof, and then again, calling people to take a certain action. If they do, great. If not, you can change what you're doing. As they become a new client, you could think about how you're onboarding them. You can make sure that you're giving them instructions on what they could do to have success with your product or service, and give them a good experience to earn more rewards and referrals. And then you can continue to market campaigns to the clients that you have. Right? So this is kind of like the blueprint of something that you could work to build. I know it's a lot to take right now, but again, this is kind of an overview. And at the end of the day, a system needs a strategy. So if you're looking to get more insights, I know SBDC has different advisors that speak on different things. I'm a certified digital marketer trainer and advisor that really speaks on value journey optimization, but engage with someone to help you out. There are people there that will be ready to give you their time in order to help you get to where you want to go. Because a lot of businesses, this is what they could use, is something, maybe a diagram like this, but this is what they end up having right now. And you could see there's a lot of missing pieces when you're looking at it that way. So this is the blueprint of a process that can guide prospects to become customers that pay, stay, and refer. And you want to make sure you have a holistic approach looking at the different pieces and components of your overall strategy. Again, not just the automation, but if you're using emails, you need to be looking at the messaging. If you're using social media, you need to make sure you're looking at the messaging and the strategy behind it. If you're looking at analytics, you want to make sure that you're looking at the right data. So all this stuff is important, that it's working holistic together, and don't get overwhelmed. Just like we said at the beginning of this conversation, how do you eat an elephant? You do it one bite at a time. You can start by just doing one thing. Just doing one thing, okay? So we know this pros: it saves time, saves money, helps things become more consistent, more effective, better experience. The cons: it needs to be planned, and it's got to be set up right to really get the best results. So the question for you is, will you commit to taking an action to improve? As my role and mission in Growth Amplifiers is to inspire and empower people to take new actions to achieve new results and amplify their business. And if not, I want you to think about what stops you from fully leveraging automation. Okay. A common reply is they didn't know it was there. They didn't know what they could do. Well, if you're attending this and you're watching this, now you do. Time. I don't have the time to do this. It saves you time. It saves you time, right? So make the time to be more effective, and you'll gain the time back in the long run. Cost. There's typically somewhat of a cost with marketing automation. However, it's the cost of not implementing it that typically is bigger than the cost of investing in it. And then the lack of knowledge. I really don't know how to set this up. That's why you connect with other advisors, people that have the experience that can help guide you to the next step. That's what we're here for, right? So this is wrapping up this part of the presentation. And again, my goal here was to give you some awareness. And if you're looking to continue the journey, we're going to be getting into action. We kind of covered the theory of a lot of this stuff today. And on February 2nd from 1 to 2, we're doing part 2, which we're going to really be getting into seeing things in action. I've already covered the theory and a lot of the points of benefits. So we're going to be going in action, seeing things, get set up, and having that fun experience. So it's going to be a different sort of workshop sort of experience that we'll have fun doing. We're going to continue the journey. As mentioned, I do have a special offer if you're seeking to download the blueprints or gain some additional growth strategies on how you can amplify your business. You could chat in your email address, or you can go to rockwithkenny.com. Actually, I think I put the wrong domain up there. That's going to be to schedule a time. I'm going to give you another. It's findmyprofits.com. So you can get schedule a time to find 50K in your business in 50 minutes. Gain a free book, actionable insights for your business, and if you'd like, you can get a free trial of ActiveCampaign. Simply just a way of sharing value. So we're kind of at the questions section. So if you have questions, would love to hear questions you have. And if you don't have a question, I'd appreciate if you could share one thing that you gained from today, one thing that maybe gave you a new perspective, was an aha moment, or something that you're going to put into action. So I'm requesting that you at least put something in the questions field so we could see what what you've gained, and that would be appreciated.
Thank you, Kenny. And as he mentioned, if you're interested in receiving any of his information that he just mentioned, go ahead and type in your email address now, and I will forward that along to him. And I also have put into the chat box the registration link for next week's course. If you are interested in continuing this deep dive into marketing automation, go ahead and find the registration link there in the chat box. The emails are coming in. And somebody had asked about sending the slides, Kenny. I'm assuming that's going to be taken care of in this follow-up email for those who are interested. Correct?
Yes, you will be very pleased with the follow-up resources. There's some great resources that I'm glad to share. It is my commitment to help people that are serious about amplifying their business and getting their automation in gear, to help them out with that, giving them some helpful resources. But I need your contact information to do it. So.
Okay, no actual questions coming in, just some comments and email addresses are coming in. Scott, as always, Kenny, you are full of knowledge. I'm signed up for the next class already. Looking forward to the next class. Excited about the further topic. A lot of comments about looking forward to next week's session.
Yes, and I will put this out there for people that may have not put in their information yet. I can send some prep stuff. If you're planning on attending the next session, I can send you some prep information. If you're looking to attend the more workshop part, the getting into action part, that will be helpful. Different experience. It's going to be a different experience next time. We're kind of like setting the stage here, and we're going to be putting ideas into action, working through some things. You'll see some things actually being created on the fly. It's less of a presentation, more about workshop sort of environment. So that's what I'm looking to do. And if I have your contact information, I could send you that information.
We did get one question that popped up. How does automation apply to high-end consulting services where professional risks are high?
That's a good question. And high-end is relative. So I've worked with some of the top consultants and organizations around the country, and automation is part of the process. Now, what I would say is, if you're doing high-end consultancy, you're probably going to have a lot fewer people that you're going to be engaging with. So you may use the automation for some of the churning parts, some of the things that could just be, it's maybe getting their contact information, maybe a follow-up, maybe seeding reminder emails or sending nurture content. But you may say, all right, look, for this high end, now that we've gotten here, I'm going to get a little bit more personalized in that conversation. It's really relative based on the business and the conversation, but I know plenty of high-end consultants that leverage automation, have helped them improve their automation sequences and processes. And I use them myself for almost all occurrences, but for, if I'm in engagement with someone and really having a dialogue and going back and forth, kind of pulling them out of automation for that moment to really get to know them and have that conversation. So it doesn't replace the relationship building and conversation, but it can help you save a lot of time and keep more consistent.
Awesome, thank you. And I'm not seeing any other questions coming in. Again, sign up for next week's session. There's a link in your chat box, or go to our website, spdc.unf.edu, and click on workshops and events. And it's down there under the social media or marketing topic. I think that's about it. Kenny, thank you so much for an awesome, as always, awesome presentation. Oh, hold on. What's up?
I'll do one more thing, just because it has a habit. This is the book, Amplify Business Breakthroughs, and in the presentation I shared today, I shared the impact, the 5 drivers of a profit growth formula. There's a calculator tool that I've got that you've got to check out, and what this can help you do. This is funny because I mentioned the podcast I was on earlier today, but this happened in the same conversation. The importance of calculating success in advance. So if you know where you're at right now in your business and you have a goal of what you're trying to achieve at the end of 2021, and you want to make 2021 one of your best years ever, you can pre-calculate what you'd want to do, what you would need to achieve to get those results ahead of time. So when you know what your plan is, and then you can say, all right, now that I know what I'm looking to achieve, how can I use automation to help me achieve those results? Okay. I don't know if you could see that very well, but if you went to the URL, I can't talk. I'm gonna have some stuttering problem today. Rockwithkenny.com. You can get a free copy of the book. I'll mail it to you. But just really making sure that you're thinking of your time, right? Being mindful of your time, and the most important things that you have in your business that seem to take a lot of your time that could be automated, and starting there first. So that's the last tip I really wanted to share, is making sure that you're starting your automation process thinking of what's the task that I'm relatively taking all the time, that, man, if I could just do this one task and not have to do it manually, it would save me a lot of time.
Awesome. Thank you.
High five.
Yeah, a virtual high five for the wealth of information and knowledge, only to be expanded upon next week. We are looking forward to it. We hope to see, I say that in quotation, see everybody at the event next week. Kenny, thank you again for an awesome presentation. And with that, we'll go ahead and sign off. Thank you, everybody, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.